Okay, so I am going to spotlight our wonderful panelists so everyone can see. And before we start, I just would like you all to go around, say your name, introduce yourself. Many of our attendees here probably know you from leading meetups. So Akshata, I'll send it over to you quickly.
Hello, thanks, Sabrina. So, myself Akshata from Mumbai, India, and currently, I've been working in Epicero for past 3+ years, and I've been working on MuleSoft for mainly for around 4 years, you can say. And I'm a MuleSoft ambassador and MuleSoft community meetup leader for Mumbai region. I have contributed to community in forms of various blogs, sessions, and you can see the tutorials and all these things. So yeah, I'm very much glad to see you all, to have you with you. Thank you.
Awesome. Joy, Eduardo?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining in. I'm Mary Joy Sabal. You could call me Joy. I'm working as integration technical lead for .com New Zealand. So Eduardo and I are based in Auckland, New Zealand. I have nearly 4 years experience in integration. And yeah, good to see you all.
Hey guys, Eduardo Ponzoni here. I'm a practice manager here at .com New Zealand, also a MuleSoft ambassador. Some of you guys might know me from some of my blog posts and content for MuleSoft, which is quite cool. And yeah, looking forward to hear the question from you guys.
Awesome. Okay, well, the first question I have for you all is, how did you initially become involved in the MuleSoft community? And then I'll just keep going Akshata and then back and forth based on my screen.
Okay, sure. So initially, I guess around 2 years back, I attended the first Mule meetup at Mumbai, and then I was so fascinated. I mean, everything was so good, interacting with the seniors. I mean, with the fellow Muleys who are so much experience and having knowledge. And it was actually, I could say, the turning point from where my journey began. And then I was was so interested in all these things. I just went home back. I mean, and Googled everything about meetups and how they are. How can I apply to be a meetup leader? And I straight away applied on the very same day. It was a very amazing, an amazing experience, I could say. And post that, yeah, I became my meetup leader, and then I started contributing in the form of various blogs, tutorials, and other things. And after that, my journey towards becoming an ambassador gets started. So that's how it really got started. Anything in particular you would like to know?
Oh, and I'll have you all ask in the chat if there is something specific, just so I can ask them.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Joy and Eduardo?
Yep. So I guess I started as a participant through MuleSoft meetups. I was just like a normal participant before. I never speak through any meetups. And then one day, two Sabrinas reached out to me, and yeah, just getting to know each other. And I believe the very first MuleSoft speaking engagement was the MuleSoft Connect last year around October, which was actually, yeah, the first. And it's not even locally, it's international. So I was really nervous that time. And then from there, yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's all it started.
Cool. Yeah, as for me, I would say my very first experience was during the MuleSoft Summit here in Auckland in 2019, if I'm not wrong. I was one of the speakers. I actually spoke about quality of APIs using MUnit in specific and applying test pyramids, which later on became sort of one of my blog posts. Sometime later, I have been invited by Pedro from MuleSoft actually to help him running the Auckland meetup group. And then I obviously immediately jumped on, which was really cool experience. And last year was appointed as one of the MuleSoft ambassadors, really. And on top of all of that, started really writing the blog posts. And the idea is to always be sharing good quality content, cool stuff with you guys. Yeah, that's me.
Awesome. And then I did get a question for Akshata. So it's, how do you manage your time between regular work at Apicero and being a meetup leader and ambassadress?
Yeah, that's a really valid question, I could say. I mean, it becomes difficult at times, but then I have like my own schedules. Like when I'll be working for the community, there are fixed time slots. I mean, my post work hours and pre work hours, I dedicate some time, almost on daily basis and also on weekend. I make sure I'm at least contributing 1 to 2 hours, I mean 1 hour per day at least, to go through all the mails. I mean, normally we get questions as well, and there are blog contents to be up. So I dedicate some time. I mean, that is personally, I'm dedicated towards the MuleSoft community only. So that's how I manage. Thank you.
Awesome. Joy and Eduardo, do you have any similar or different advice based on your work with Datacom in the community?
I guess for me, it's a passion, it's a calling. So it's not really a burden for us to do the time management.
Yep.
I love engaging with others. So I love mentoring as well. And it's good to see, this new developers that's growing in this community because that's where I started to. So I guess, yeah, it's not really burden for us. It's not a commitment, but rather it's giving back to the community.
Yeah, I would
Definitely.
say
Yep.
exactly the same. It's all about passion. There's another side as well that we always make a joke. It's like the day lasts for 24 hours anyways, right? So we always spare some time. But really, it's about being able to share, and give back to the community, as Joy mentioned. That's really the driving force behind what we do, really. And this is how we feel inspired, etc., to find some time to actually do this stuff.
Yeah. And we're meant to do greater things. So we shouldn't hide our talents. We should share it.
Yeah,
Awesome. This kind of answered actually another question I had, but I'd love to have you all elaborate. This is more specific to you all are great blog writers. So, what inspired you to kind of move beyond speaking at meetups and really contribute your first technical content? So, your first blog, either on your own or on MuleSoft.com.
So I'll go first. So almost around 2 years back, I was preparing for Salesforce TrailerX, and at that time, I was working on a POC, which actually took me a quite long time. I mean, it was something related to Einstein Analytics with Salesforce, something it was introduced newly with MuleSoft at that time, I guess. And I believe that like it took me so long, so I should really document something like this so that it will be helpful for the community. So next time someone wants to work on it, it will definitely save their time. So that is I started writing with my first content, and from then there on, like it received a great response. I mean, people who were actually working on it, they reached out to me via LinkedIn and all, and that's what encouraged me to like move further, writing more and more contents. And after that, I started shooting some videos as well. I mean, that was via Meetup or maybe the sessions which I have been conducting. So those ones are uploaded on YouTube. I need to like collate them, all of them. But yeah, that's what I mean, giving back to the community. It will be actually like whenever person writes a blog or maybe a video, or you share some like your ideas over your forum, MuleSoft forum basically. So it actually helps someone who like the other one person who's working on it, and it saves their time. So that's what made me contribute more, I could say. Yeah. Ready?
Yeah, for me, I was really a fan of MuleSoft blogs even before I started writing. And writing is like kind of therapy for me. It's taking me away out of my busy life. And I guess I just, think of that as writing my own notes, but in a very formal way. And at the same time, it's not only me who's benefiting out of those knowledge, but also I'm giving it back to the community. And for me, it's a history. Like, if you get old, you can just browse and check your blogs, and yeah, it's cool.
Nice. Well, I guess as for me, what really motivated me was by the time I wrote my very first one, most of the contents I found were quite around the basics of Mule, how you go about doing this, how you go about doing that. And I really wanted to go beyond and share of my own experiments on sort of pushing it harder to the limits. One of the stuff, for instance, was like I found quite a lot of content around immunity in specific, but there was nothing like, as I mentioned, how do we go about applying this concept of test pyramids, actually using immunity right? And then when I came to this, I actually implemented one, was quite successful, it worked quite well. So I decided to share that. And as you guys can see, most of my contents are actually not too much into the how to do's, but throwing different ideas of how we push the stuff to the limit. And I guess this is really what motivates me as well. It's kind of stretching from and going away from the basics, really.
Awesome. I love that. And if you could give one piece of advice to anyone who's interested in becoming a community contributor, either speaking or writing, what would your piece of advice be?
Just do it with your heart and everything will fall in place. I mean, you should follow your passion. It shouldn't be like something like burden, as Joy said. It should something be like more. You should be more passionate about it, and um, you should do it with your all heart. So everyone will accept it, and it will be coming great as well. And yeah, anything you would like to add, Joy?
I guess don't think about when you write or when when you speak. It's not about being famous in the community, but
Hmm.
rather it's more on how many people you could help, how
Correct.
many like new developers really keen to know more about MuleSoft, and I guess you just wouldn't know that you're inspiring, a person or how many people you inspired, and yeah, just keep going, never give up.
Yeah, I just have one thing to add on top of it. As a person who has English as the second language, because I'm originally from Brazil, so I speak Portuguese, I would say don't be shy, don't be worried about, perhaps committing any English mistakes when you actually speak or when you write, because the most important thing really is how you forward, how you pass your message on, and you're gonna and enjoy yourself and enjoy what you're doing. Those are the two main stuff I would say to add to what the girls actually said.
Awesome. And one other question I have for you is, how do you think that becoming a MuleSoft ambassador and ambassadress has positively impacted your career?
Yeah, definitely it has positively impacted our career by there are people actually who reach out to us if they are in need, and that like give you a kind of pride that you're actually helping someone and you could be of help to someone else, and also your work has been acknowledged. Beautiful communities acknowledging our work, that's something really great. um, and it has impacted my career in different ways. I mean, even at my workplace, at everywhere. I mean, the people they actually they greet you with great respect, you can say, and your work has been acknowledged. That is the most important thing. I mean, whatever you're contributing in the form of tutorials, blogs, and all, they have been acknowledged. Yeah.
For me, I mean, let's admit it, it's not a common recognition, but I do really appreciate that MuleSoft, recognized, because this title, before we get this title, we really worked hard for it. But as I said, if you have this burning passion, you don't really need to strive for it. So I guess the positive impact, of course, we're famous. No, I'm just kidding. It's a good network. People are reaching us out for help, for work. Yeah, it's good, and also for ourselves, it's setting the bar high. So it's quite a challenge for us because we have to maintain this level.
Maintain that.
We
Yeah.
have to upskill. We have to be updated with all the latest trends and everything. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I think that what it really brought to us was really expanded in terms of opportunities, both inside our own company, but I can definitely see like my LinkedIn has gone crazy ever since I
Blew
became,
up.
right? Similarly with Joy, right? It's all the time, it's people coming and recruiters calling. And internally in this company as well, in terms of visibility, how we are perceived by the business and how we're perceived by the customers as well. So that really had a huge positive impact for us, meaning everything really, more money, more opportunities, all of those good things.
Awesome. And then I have one more question, and it's definitely the hardest one. But what is your favorite part about being an ambassador, ambassadress, and just being a part of the MuleSoft community?
Okay, the swags maybe. Just kidding.
Yeah.
You stole my saying.
It's always swag.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, as we said before, the great recognition, the acknowledgement we get, and then we are able to contribute in different way. And whatever the content, whatever is going to be released or whatever new update we're going to get, so that is we are the first one, maybe I believe we are to receive it. Um, and we are able to connect with great people from the product management team and everyone from the community, the top MuleSoft guys. I mean, if we are having any doubt, or if anyone in my community or like anywhere, like if they're facing any issues, and if it is something we can actually reach out to them directly. It has made us more, like given us more accessibility to reach out the top management as well. If anyone is facing any issues, it can be like highlighted out. So yeah, we have those privilege as well. So definitely all those kinds of privileges we get after being an ambassador and leading the community.
For me, it's like what I've said, I love engaging with others. So being a MuleSoft ambassadress, we established this good relationship with MuleSoft. We gained heaps of friends from all around the world, even though we haven't met them yet in person. And most especially, we have these mentors. So I think that really helped me a lot in my career, because we're not just compartmentalized in New Zealand. We have these mentors that has really massive knowledge about different use cases, and yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, I guess I'm with both of you girls. It's about reaching different horizons, I would say, right? So all of the good stuff that it brings is really about that. It's like new connections. You speak to more people. There's more customers. We get more frequent updates on what's coming in MuleSoft. So all of that stuff we can use positively, both to bring it back to the community in terms of writing content and things like that. And as for us, really, within the company, we actually are able to communicate that with customers and create strategies and things like that. How we go about product updates and what's coming, which is super cool. That's probably about it.
Awesome. Well, thank you all. We're going to switch over to Varun. I have a couple questions for him from our chat. And then if anyone has more questions for our panelists, they are still here. So please ask them. And I'm sure they will either respond in chat, or if we have some more time, I'll bring everyone on screen and we can just do kind of a roundtable discussion. So thank you all. And I'm going to remove your spotlight. I know you all spotlighted. I don't even know how to say that. You deserve the spotlight always. Okay, so let's go to Varun. Okay, thank you for your awesome presentation today. I have a couple questions for you. So one I have is, this was a great solution. I particularly like the idea of callback registration tables and dynamic evaluate and map ideas. My question is, what did it take you to mobilize or convince different teams to come up with this reusable solution? If not for your persistence, how would it have been implemented otherwise?
Um, One thing which we were lucky at was that we were at the beginning and the starting of our journey with MuleSoft. So whatever we do within the platform was pretty much in our control, and we had freedom in the way we would express ourselves and support from our management. So once the design idea was there and it was floated, the buy-in from the management and the teams and the lines of businesses was there immediately on implementing that solution. So no problems in that aspect. What was the second question? I just forgot that. The part two of the question.
It was like, if it wasn't for your persistence, how would this have been implemented otherwise?
Otherwise, So this is like a pure ESB case, wouldn't it? Wherein you have two systems which need the same kind of data but different formats. So what you would have done is probably in the processing layer, you connected two different systems with two different connectors, have two different transformations in there. And every time a system needs data, you touch the process API layer again, add the mapping for it, do the regression test once again, even though it might not have an impact on your original code base, but you still have to regress everything. You still have to make sure whatever was there works properly and so on. So that would have been the way forward if this framework wouldn't have been used.
Awesome. I'm going to let everyone come off mute. And if you have any additional questions for anyone, just feel free to turn on your audio and ask away. Well, I'll ask a question of everyone. How did you enjoy Connect? Did you have a favorite breakout session? Say the meetup? No, I'm just kidding. But what was your favorite part of Connect so far?
The data graph one, if it is to the participants. Yeah. So it looked exciting. How to see it in action whenever it releases.
Awesome. Varun, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I did receive a question from Vikram on what happens in case of connection issue while publishing the event to the subscribers. One of the main reasons why we had a two-step process wherein even the callback URLs were not directly connected from the process layer. We had a system layer, and that system layer was processing information in a two-step process wherein as soon as it gets it, it just puts the data in the queue, and and then it reads from the queue and sends it to the callback URL. So we expect the processing layer to have minimal errors because the subscriber system is just putting it into a queue. Hope that answers your question, Vikram.
Yeah, thanks, Varun.
Question to ambassadors, Naveen here. So what technical expertise does it take to be a leader, meetup leader, or on the path to become ambassador?
No such particular technical expertise as such, Naveen. I mean, you should be firstly passionate about it. You should be willing to learn maybe more. And yeah, because when I became a meetup leader, I didn't have any particular expertise as such. I was working on Mule for like past 1.5 years almost, and I was aware about the basic stuff. I was contributing to the community, but I couldn't say like I had expertise at that time, or maybe even now I have a expertise in some particular subject or something. But yeah, definitely, if someone is reaching out to me, I will try my best to help him out, help him out. So that's the only thing you need, Naveen.
For me, nothing. You just have to be friendly. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I guess because before I came out and got involved in the community, I had these personal goals that I should tick off these certifications because I truly believe that before you be able to help others, you should be technically equipped. But that's for my personal. But this shouldn't hindered you to come out and be yourself. So the more you engage with other people, you will notice that you will develop as well, personally and professionally. So yeah, it's good to learn with somebody else, with a group. So
Yep.
I really encourage you to get involved to the community.
Yeah, I guess to add to that, I would just say, well, basically, you have to know you, right? We have this thing in here of leading by example. And especially when it comes to the people actually leading MuleSoft practices, like about being sort of the best of the best. And to some degree, I really think it applies to becoming the ambassadors, like having as much knowledge as you possibly can, and on top of that, being able to actually share that knowledge with the community and having this willingness of actually sharing. Those would be the things on top of it as well. Which actually leads me to another question for the whole group there. From time to time, we have these discussions with customers in terms of how important it is for MuleSoft developers / architects to be good in Java as well. Or if you guys reckon that, I don't know, just having Mule experience is sort of enough. We always have this debate, especially because we support customers in both Mule 3 and Mule 4. In Mule 3, there was quite a lot of usage of Java code. In Mule 4, not that much. So what's your opinion? What's your take on that, guys? Anyone?
Could you repeat the question? I didn't get that.
Yeah, sure. It's about what's your opinion in terms of if a MuleSoft developer or architect should also be good or sort of an expert in Java as well, or just being a Mule would be enough?
As being an architect, I don't think such technical expertise on Java or any other coding platforms would be needed. But for a developer, I heard from a lot of developers that their Java expertise comes in handy. I mean, a lot of similarities, a lot of terminologies being similar. Studio being like we're looking similar to a lot of other Java-based tools. Yeah, that's my take.
Yeah, for me, I guess it depends on the use case, like how heavily you're gonna use the Java.
Yeah.
With Mule 4, as so far we don't really use much of Java.
Yes,
So what you could do is if you have Mule 3 Java code that's really needed,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
guess you just have to migrate it and then use the Java components. And plus, I think that's the last resort, because data weave is so powerful. And yeah, I mean, you could do a lot of things with data weave. So I guess just try to find a way first in data weave. Otherwise, then use the Java.
Yeah, definitely. Even I've been like trained on Java, but I've never practically used Java in like hands-on coding and all. DataWeave does all the tasks for us. But yes, I'm aware about the basic Java concept as Mule is built on top of it, we can say. You should be aware of those concepts because it would be helpful, but it's not something that is needed like hard and fast, I guess.
That's cool.
Okay.
A question to Varun.
Yeah,
Hi, Varun. So the first question about convincing stakeholders was mine. So thanks for answering. And, so regarding the object store usage, so do you have any failover scenario in case of any event of object store failure?
So first thing which we are doing is we are using a persistent object store, and the way it's built right now is that if subscription to a particular event type is not available and is not being looked up by the object store code, then that particular event is just passed through. Uh, Thankfully, it's been working, and we haven't seen a lot of failures wherein the object store has crashed or it's inaccessible. Um the whole reason behind we using object store and not calling the tables directly, because there would be n number of events happening every day, and we were trying to avoid calling the tables directly. Instead, we were using this object store as a caching mechanism, as an intermediate, so that it would be much faster. However, it could be thought of that if a particular lookup has failed, we might just do a call to the actual table or actual APIs behind those tables as a fallback. We haven't implemented that, but it's something which could be a potential fallback.
Yeah, thanks for that. And my second question about the usage of dynamic data weave. Maybe before that, so who are the consumers of these APIs? So the whether those who know registers for the callbacks.
Yeah, so the way it works is when the consumers are basically downstream systems, so as to speak. So like identity management and supplementary research system, the teams who are owning this system, they are the consumers. They provide their callback URL and they give a skeleton of a JSON with fields marked as true or false. If it's a true field, it means that's a field which they require. And as a first cut, it would generate a dynamic data week firstly automatically based on whatever fields you've selected as true. Now, like I said, this is a governance workflow process wherein um, um, immediately the subscriber is not going to get data. The subscription is going to go and sit there in a pending state, and it would send out an email to our C4E saying that, okay, there's a new subscription request which has come in for this particular API from this particular team, and these are the contact details of that particular team. Then we get into a discussion with that team, and if there is any other transformation requirement, say for example, if that particular team is not capable of providing a HTTP listener as a callback, they are able to accept only CSV files, for example, then we have an option to add in additional data weave script to convert it into a CSV file and just update it into the registration tables. So this is a bit of manual activity which would come in, and if such more transformations are required, that is taken care of by the central C4E team to um, perform that data weave mapping and update it into the data weave transformation tables.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying. Yeah, and great idea, by the way. So I'm really impressed with the way you have designed the solution, particularly the callback registration and the dynamic data view mappings.
Yeah, thank you.
Looks like we have another question for ambassadors. It says, how has COVID impacted the way you contribute to the community, positively or negatively? Are there any challenges? If so, how did you overcome them? And I think this kind of goes to all aspects. COVID's really changed how we all work. So, Varun, if you have any ways that COVID's impacted the way you work, please feel free to share as well.
So yeah, COVID, I guess it has impacted us in both the ways, positively as well as negatively. The positive aspect I could say is we have like earlier it used to be in case of meetups or any events, it used to be limited to a particular city, the offline meetups basically. Particularly like we were only based towards Mumbai, but now we have like global audiences, people from all parts of the world. They are like participating in meetup, and that's why we've tried to make the event flexible enough and the timings so that everyone can access it. So yeah, we are definitely having a global audience, and not negative as such, but yeah, I do miss our normal offline meetups wherein we used to have like one-to-one interaction, like we get to know like what is happening where and how they are working, like if there is anything new that they're using. So there was a live touch, a live human interaction, you can say, that used to a personal touch, which we are missing these days. We want to meet back because we had a huge community in Mumbai. Almost around 150 people used to participate. So all of them who were the regular participants, yeah, definitely we're missing them, and we're looking forward to like meet them back again. Let's see. I just hope soon. Yeah.
For me, it was very positive because we have heaps of time at home writing blogs and those apps.
True.
Um, and also in this era, technology brings us all together. So it's easy to, reach out to people, and also you're gonna gain friends and mentors from all around the world, which is actually good. Yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, I think there's both a negative and a positive side to it. The positive for us here definitely is that the amount of work to be done has gone up to the roof. There's a lot of stuff to be done. All of these companies accelerating their integration programs and things like that, which is super cool. The downside, I believe, is what we were discussing just before this session here, is, as for me anyways, is like not being able to have this face-to-face conversation with people and actually presenting. I personally I really enjoy having a national audience and being able to share and discuss on a face-to-face mode. I think that's the downside to it. And then the way to overcome really is conducting these virtual sessions, which is also cool, but I really feel like I still miss the sort of human interaction, proximity, which thanks God we have now in New Zealand. As you guys can see, there's no social distancing here.
This is real, guys.
Yeah, it's real, right? So it's super cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is.
Varun, has it impacted the way you work, or do you enjoy working remote?
Thankfully, the part of world I am in, we just had a month period last year wherein we had to work from home. Apart from that, we are working from offices. So a bit lucky that way.
I think I'm going to be working from home forever. No, I'm just kidding. But I am jealous of you all in the office.
I get the same feeling, Sabrina.
Awesome. Well, we have until we have about 10 more minutes, so definitely get any last minute questions you have in for them. One plug I will make before you all leave is we did announce our new MuleSoft Mentors program today. This is a great program if you feel like you need some encouragement to get involved in the MuleSoft community. I highly recommend you apply. You can apply, I'm putting it in the chat right now, but it's mulesoft.com/mentors. If you are interested in becoming a MuleSoft ambassador at some point, we do require that you now become a MuleSoft mentor first. It really helps just you to learn how to write blogs, how to become a meetup leader, and also just you can then start mentoring others as well as be mentored yourself by our wonderful ambassadors. So I do highly recommend this program. There's all the information at this link, and applications or nominations, if you know someone who you think would make a great fit, are open through June 18th of this year. That is my sales pitch. I am done for the day. Well, if there are no other questions, thank you all for joining us, and I'll stay on for a few more minutes. If you have anything related to blogs, our roundups, our community programs, feel free to ask me. And otherwise, thank you to Varun and our wonderful panelists, and we will hopefully see you all again at another meetup soon. So thank you all.
Thanks for having us. Bye.
Guys.